Pokémon Multiverse is a fan game with over 400 Fakemon inspired by Marvel and DC characters. It combines classic GBA charm with moves and abilities up to Generation 9, plus custom ones for some characters. And in this video, I'll be attempting to beat the game using only Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hi, I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Okay, so I know Doc set this up because I've got a movie coming out with this angry guy right here. But what Doc doesn't know is I hacked his PC last night and filled it with some friends and enemies you may or may not see in the movie. So instead of just watching 2 friends on this adventure, you're gonna see 30. You're welcome.
This is Perryverse. Let's go. We started our adventure just like any other runs, by choosing our starter. And in this run, I chose Locub, which is inspired by Wolverine. Then I got hijacked by this peekable guy threatening me if I don't let him on my team. But before I went out to Route 101, he told me to get that potion in RPC, which is actually not a bad idea. But little did I know, this little sucker invited 30 of his friends too. We got Iron Man, Jean Grey, Storm, Thor, Doctor Strange. Even Hulk was there. Don't get me wrong, I love me some choices and variety and especially coverage. But I don't like being told what to do. So I decided that this will be sort of a Nuzlocke where when a Pokemon faints in battle, it cannot be usable anymore. Well, except for Wolverine and Deadpool, but with his power in RPC, I can't not do a Nuzlocke. So I welcomed all of them with warm hug and grabbed our first team. The early routes were surprisingly decent. We faced the early route bursts of the game Robin and Hawkeye, which are called Robling and Hawkeye or Hawklet in this game. It wasn't overwhelmingly easy as we weren't blowing anyone off the roof, but we weren't struggling either. Some Pokemon gave us more troubles than others, like this Alfred Pokemon called Sanfred. Some were a little easier though, like this Starfire and Blackfire Pokemon, but that's maybe thanks to Locub's custom ability called Self-Sufficient, which is basically an ability form of leftovers. This game also has many villain-based Pokemon like this kid's Joker Jr., who I think is so adorable, and one of my favorites, this Catwoman called Katen. Then when I was face to face with our first mini-boss, I second thought my team and tried to be smart. Since this is gonna be a double battle, that skill link War Machine scares the heck out of me. I brought Magnitude Magneto and Helping Hand Jean Grey with telepathy. Then I forgot. War GM was Steel and Flying type. So not only that it didn't get hit by Magneto, it also kills our side chick with a Helping Hand boosted Pin Missile. Meaning the Dark Phoenix will not be soaring in this video. The battle went on for a while, but ultimately I sent out our 2 starters and just let them finish the game. I'm not gonna lie, I was mad for the next 2 hours when this happened, especially that I know how powerful the champion is. Now I'm starting to wonder what Pokemon will I bring then, if I can even get there. Well, be sure to watch till the end if you're wondering too. Still mad, I ditched healing after the boss fight and went straight to fight everyone I see, literally. While the past me is still raging and fighting all these trainers, this may be a good time to tell you that this game features mini-bosses called Area Wardens in some maps, and in this run, I can only level up as high as the next boss's ace Pokemon. I'm allowing myself to use Rare Candy though. We laid Psychic to rest, and Cyclor didn't seem to show any emotions, which is expected but still scary. He rallied the team to regroup and I brought an all anti-bug team for the next map with the Thing, Gambit, Pyro, and the Human Torch. Thanks to them, the usually scary team of Star-Lord, Ant-Man, and Blue Beetle from the Area Wardens team was no match for us, and we moved on to the next city. We bumped into June and this guy right here who seemed to be a member of the evil team in this game, and of course, he wasn't spared from my rage. I kicked him off Kripkoa City and the secret agent approached me. Since I was still so mad, I almost didn't notice that this cool looking guy is my big brother and apparently is one of the bosses of Sentry. They are the ones hunting down those evil dudes called Team Cosmos. Anyway, I went straight to the PC to finally face Cyclops and he wanted to join the next mission, along with Beast, Sabretooth, and Daredevil, probably knowing that the next maps are mostly rock types and ground types. What I failed to realize though was that Cyclar may not be the only one grieving. Loka was with the team down south but unfortunately he didn't have any moves to hit rock types yet. But that didn't stop him from even teaming up with Cyclops and Sabretooth just to deliver a message. And as expected, Pikapool and the gang didn't have much problem against the trainers in Route 103. Speaking of Route 103, we soon face its area warden, Vinny, whom despite being a hiker doesn't have a single rock type on his team. Thankfully this time, Loka was still extremely heated and much more ready to go. He now has Rock Tomb and Rock Smash, both boosted with just one howl that helped him easily took down the third mini-bosses Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Batman. The next route is interesting though, with variety of mons from fairy types, flying types, and most importantly, a must-have type for a superhero genre, the sound type, which is also the specialty of the area warden, Nate. I brought Juggernaut, Mr. Fantastic, Storm, and Iron Man to team up for this area. You may be wondering why I would bring such powerhouse. Well, for those who don't know, I've been streaming this game on this channel and the amount of times that my run ended by this exact guy is crazy high. Thankfully though, all throughout the region, our sister is there to heal us. We also stumble upon the secret hideout cave with two Cosmos Grunt inside and a very cool mysterious portal. I wonder what's that for. Then we finally reach the next city called Havens District, which means one thing, a new team. This team will be dealing with Team Cosmos members on Stain Mansion and also the fighting type gym. So I decided to bring Dazzler, Wong, Mr. Fantastic, and the Invisible Woman. We enter the Stain Mansion, which apparently is this gym's leader ancestral house. We fought the Grunts and even had a double battle against Katens and Baron Zemos, but it was honestly too anticlimactic to show. Thankfully though, the admin had some cooler Pokemon like this Taskmaster called Serand, his Deadshot called Shotile, and his ace, King Lax. And after finishing them up, the police finally came and just started to blatantly hate on us. We then met up with Drew Stain outside and let him know that we're gonna challenge his gym. This is the first gym and for a superhero themed Pokemon fun game, I felt it was very fitting for it to be a fighting type. Wong finishes the first two Roblings with confusion while Dazzler finishes the Fletchbin with two draining kisses. We dodged Drew's best friend Leo but had to fight his girlfriend Ariana, who sends out Black Canary called Canarly, who is obviously a sound and flying type, and a freaking Wonder Woman. What are you doing here? Thankfully, we had a baby Cable out here or else we're doomed. The final gym trainer is Drew's General, who sent out Daredevil's basic evolution, who was deleted by my Poliwong. I sent out Sutini to slow the deal with his second Dare pawn, and finally his Dare Sharp was kissed to death by our Dazzlumis. There was no time to waste and we finally got to challenge our first gym leader, Drew. Pikapool came in blazing hot, beating his first two Pokemon with non-boosted acrobatics. Those are Scarlet Spider and Drax, by the way. He then sent out his own Pikapool who had the same ability as our Lowcub, while ours had Regenerator. It didn't take long till he had the upper hand, so I had to maneuver to Snubble and back to Pikapool after I got the HP from Regenerator. And now that I've used my berry, my acrobatics damage became too much for him to heal. And finally, we got our first gym badge. But I know things are just gonna get tougher and tougher from here on out. Speaking of things getting tough, we're about to fight our sidekick and I decided to bring Azazel, Loki, Dazzler, and Juggernaut. She's bringing sort of a fire and psychic type team, so we have to be careful. I just wanna say, this format of bringing different teams on each boss fight is actually tiresome but also very fun. She just wanted to rub salt in our wound by sending out her own side chick, and that fired a whole lot of different anger on our team as our Knight Apom takes it out and our Pikapool finishes her Starem and Wandlia. She's very cool with it though. I like this girl. Now heading to Syndicate Alley, I dodged most trainers who look like goons cause I didn't want no more smoke. So I asked this dude but he also wanted to battle. But high key though, he has a cool Pokemon called Bagoon which is Moon Knight as Pokemon. This guy too. I'm not gonna lie, they both had cool teams but I'm just not here to fight. As you've noticed, I still kept the same team, but the trauma that the next area warden caused me from all the streams I did, shameless plug, haunts me. I think I've only beaten this mini boss 1 out of like 7 times we faced. So I went back to the drawing board, rebuilt the team, and this time, I'm bringing Human Torch with me. See, Knight Apom's signature move, Blink, is a 20 base damage fairy type move which flinches the target and switches me out. So to complement that, I need fast mons on my team. The battle starts with Pikapool knocking out Robling with acrobatics and U-turn giving us the momentum. Knight Apom catches Night Squire with Blink, and this is where I think I might have sold. I could have sent out Dazzlumise instead of Munchnut to take on Nightwing. I fully commit to rollout since I resist anything this Night Squire has, and the rollout is now getting more and more momentum. Unfortunately, I underestimated how much a stab double kick from Fletchbin would do, causing the demise of our Juggernaut. This hurt me 10 times more than when Psychic died. Munchnut is one of the recent sprite I did, and I genuinely believe it's one of the cutest there is. Still shaken, I tried to make the winning play by setting up an opportunity for Torchling to have at least +1 speed to beat Nero's Red Hood. It was really looking good until... It still outsped us even at +1 speed, it had the Oka Berry, and it hit 4 times Spin Missile. We really were meant to lose Torchling there. We may have won the fight, but we just lost 2 of our heavy hitters. And this loss made me cement something I already knew about myself. I don't take death and losses well. I don't understand how Nuzlockers do this on the regular. I wanted to take a day off but I was on a timer since movies coming out in a few days. Anyway, hey! Our first evolution. Let's continue this and prepare for the next gym, which I believe is a Dark type gym with many poison types. I can't wait till our mons evolve and slam these gym leaders. Speaking of evolution, we may have found the best Pokemon against the next gym. And he's evolving too. Sleaze, which is the beast from X-Men, evolves to Bigoroth. And alongside him are Iron GM, Victooth, and Snubble. Frank's gym's a lot more complicated than the first one, with his funny voice telling me where to go. Hey, I also met Poog. He's basically the only trainer I couldn't avoid. Bigoroth's perfection against this gym was on full show when it took down all Poog's Riddle Jr. and Joker Jr. Oop, I forgot about this guy who had the Blade-inspired Zubat and the whole Baron Zemo evolution line. After a while of getting lost, we finally made it to Frank, who apparently is a double agent working with our big brother. Our beast continues to dominate this gym, but even with Venom's custom abilities Symbiote, that should make it weak to Sound and Fire type, Bigoroth's Snarl still wasn't doing a lot since it's a non-stab, special type move. Vengar almost managed to take out Iron GM even though its leech life is resisted. This mon is busted. But thanks to a Citrus Berry proc, Iron Man barely beats Venom. Then Joker Eye comes out and my desperate no pursuit prayer was answered when it didn't have one. It lands Hypnosis though and almost took out Victooth with 2 acid sprays. I then switched in Snubble, but Joker Eye showed some of his other tricks, alternating Substitute, Feint, and Hypnosis. But our Cable was not having any of it as he comes out on top, giving us the Eclipse badge. The next area is Arkham Sanctorum, which is a mystical area guarded by these psychic type trainers, so it'll be a tough one since Pikapool and Locub are both fighting types. That's why I was forced to bring Magneto to the team even if I was planning to save him for the Elite Four. He'll be joined with our Azazel, Rogue, and Blade to fend off these psychic types. We enter Route 105 and is actually one of the game's coolest maps for me. And it also has cool wild encounters such as this Etrigan and Zatanna. Magdano didn't waste a single second asserting his dominance by OHKOing Pokemon left and right, including the area wardens Zatanna and Cersei. I forgot that this was a double team though, so I had to switch out Locub for Goblade, who may have a great advantage against psychic types but almost died to this Mantis stab signal beam. I said the no pursuit prayer once again, but this time louder cause there was two foes in front of Goblade. Iron Man comes in and does a solid chunk to Agatha as Magneto used Magnitude. Hey, yo, why did that went down so fast? I literally had two close calls that could have easily been casualties. This game is not for the faint-hearted, guys, but honestly, that was fun when it was done though. Then I finally entered the Arkham Sanctorum, which is pretty much a mystical prison where criminals are stripped off of their Pokemon, unless their Pokemon themselves voluntarily wants to join them in captivity. It's cool, right? I wish I could show you more than what I am showing, like the other maps, the moves Pokemon tries to learn, and the items I'm getting. There's still a lot to show, but hey, maybe next time. We move on to the next map, and though I usually spend a lot of time preparing for these boss fights, this next two took longer than usual. Thankfully, I found the perfect counters for each of them on our PC. We enter Route 106 and immediately notice the harsh sunlight. And after fighting this Aroma Lady with her Angel, Poison Ivy, and Spider-Gwen, Locub finally evolved and learned a move that will change this game's course. Locub evolves to Wolverine and learns Sword Stance. Watch out, people. This area warden rebels, uses a Sun Team, and we get into the battle and immediately start swords dancing. See, Wolverine is just too bulky to be bothered while it's setting up, and most of the time, they can't do anything about it. I set up +6 attack and let Wolverine and Sorcerath cook. After beating Route 106 Area Warden, we avoided the optional trainer battles and went straight to Route 107, which was not different honestly. It was clubbering time when the thing decided to evolve, pull up for the first time as the Throng, and just soloed a boss that has 6 members. It only took a Stealth Rock, Sandstorm, and my boy went to work. To be fair though, our enemy missed multiple chances to burn our guy, but that's Pokemon, right? Also, this was a fire-type boss and I myself was surprised with how perfect this performance the thing had in this fight. On to the next one. We enter my favorite city, Metrosia, and find that we have a Nature Mint store there, so that's awesome. We also entered the Titans Institute, but we didn't really do much there cause we can't add more Pokemons to the team anyway. I then entered this Pokéclinic instead and the doctor asked me if I could deliver this special repel to his sister on Route 110. But when I went to get there, the road was blocked by these scientists, thanks to a Team Cosmos ground sighting, they said. Then with nowhere to go, I saw this secret pass to Route 108. I fought some trainers like this one with Baron Zemo, some Algul, and Deathstroke. which is a pretty crazy team for a regular trainer, I must say. Pikapol erases them though, and when I went to grab this nugget, I saw a commotion up there. It seems like that Cosmos grunt is causing that scientist some trouble. Wait, what? No! It seems that the scientist wants to get rid of the grunt who's minding his own business, and our character seems to remember him too. He might be someone we will be seeing again soon. Especially when I'm finished with the game. No, not now. What you're seeing right now is a cramped up version so I can finally make a full gameplay video for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Anyway, we went back to the city and just fought the third gym, which I believe is based from Korean mystery reality shows. We saw a riddle in the wall, so we went back down for the interview but not before obliterating their team because we literally had the perfect pair to fight them. Iron Zor with a fire type move called Laser Beam for the symbiote, and Magneto with Magnet Pulse, which is pretty much a steel type freeze dry to finish the Booster Gold Pokemon. They get the interview they want and we get to enter the next portion of the gym. Hey, everybody wins. But there were other riddles that was blocking our way, so we investigated and figured out the rest before we encountered this trainer that would cause us a lot of problems. His Luke Cage was dealing a butt ton of damage with body press and we had to let Pikapol go down. I switched in Storm and finished it with Water Pulse, but his next Pokemon, Iron Fist Charizard, was a lot more problematic than his first one. It had great coverage, with great typing of Dragon and Fighting, and had the ability Iron Fist. All it took was a Drain Punch and it knocked out Wolverus. Clean. I don't know why though, but he didn't use the same move against our Magneto, which would have pretty much ended us there. Unfortunately, all there was down there was a trainer who told us that this was a dead end and even challenged us to battle. He had a very cool team though. Comment down below if you recognize what team he's bringing. Our Sabertooth seemed to have really went away from his old way and KO'd two of his comrades before Gumi Blob Pokemon comes out. While editing this, I noticed that there's no way that Wolverine evolves earlier than Sabertooth, so I might need to change that. If you also have suggestions and changes that you think I need to do in the game, let me know in the comments down below. Iron Man comes in and melts the rubber type Pokemon away. Then Quick Ace comes in and thankfully didn't have Bulldoze or any fighting type for Iron Zor, winning us the match. And speaking of Sabertooth earlier, Victooth finally evolves to Saber Roar. The dude sees this and tells us a clue that also makes sense in real life. So we backtracked the gym and found this interesting long table. We finally made it to Jenny, this gym's gym leader. I led with Magneto because I'm not gonna misclick Magnitude instead of the super effective Magnet Pulse, right? Then this Black Canary evolution tanked the heck out of Rock Slide and almost took out Dianito with a single low kick. What is happening? The amount of times Dianito has had these near-death moments is not fun. And you already know the no pursuit prayer was said again because Blackfire's Sting is literally pursuing her sister Starfire. That's all that she is. Thankfully though, we're 3 out of 3. We then switched in Pikapol to hopefully take anything she does, but he can't do anything to it also. So predicting the Fire Punch, I switched into Yo! Man, this gym. Tapularis comes in and I wish I could send out her father against her for a mini reunion. But that can't be, so Iron Zor comes in to face Polaris, and since the rain is still in effect, I just subbed, used Discharge, and hoped for the best. Soon the rain stopped, and the next thing you know, Iron Zor is now facing a greedy Psylocke with +2 attack. Thankfully, I still had a sub up or else it would have ended badly for us. After the fight, Storm finally evolves. This was probably my most favorite moment or battle when I was recording. I just felt like the team is finally coming together very nicely with all these evolutions and new moves. Moving on, we bumped into our Cosmos Grunt friend and he gave us 5 bottles of fresh water and a warning of the harsh desert that is Route 109. We managed to give this man a fresh water but we got caught by the trainer guarding him. Cyclor rejoins the team and takes out the bikers team of rhinos with metronome boosted stab, optic blast, even with a special boost from the sandstorm. And so fittingly, this fight made him evolve into Sicario. We proceeded to give out the fresh water to all the other enslaved men before we ourselves passed out. Then I woke up to June narrating what just so happened and we jumped to investigate around the cave and found the area warden here. He seemed very cool and chill until he sent out his team. Whoa! This Apocalypse Metagross might be one of the first legendary we saw in this playthrough and it looks awesome. But even with Dragon Rage, it couldn't do much against Wolverus thanks to its ability plus leftovers. So we were able to max out our attack again and let out a Berserker Barrage on them. His Brother Blood Pokemon was instantly deleted too and so was his Black Adam Palkia. At this point, Wolverus is just proving himself to be a certified menace. After beating Route 109 Area Warden, we enter Wakanda City. Anyway, for those who don't know, Cyclops is my all-time favorite superhero, so I was very happy to build a perfect offensive game plan for this gym fight revolving around him. Sicario comes in to Fire Expert Belt boosted, stab super effective Optic Blast on Steel Electric Iron Zor, whom I can't attack with the ground type due to Levitate. He can also deal with the incoming Steel Electric Blastborg with 1 Optic Blast and 1 Mach Punch when sturdy procs. Everything was perfect until they weren't. We got fully paralyzed thanks to Iron Zor's discharge and the weakness policy from Blastborg was just too scary to risk the switch. And just like that, we lose our Cyclops. Pikapul then picks up the slack with 1 U-turn and I almost sold again by clicking Rock Tomb with our Sabertooth instead of going straight to stop Bulldoze. I would have raged so bad if that costed us the game. I then visited the department store to check on the wide variety of TMs available there. I was shockingly not devastated when Cyclor perished, just knowing that it was a decent plan and the run is still good. Also, we can't let our friends' sacrifices go to waste, so we continue our journey to the next map, which is Route 110, pretty much a reserve or habitat for Pokemon that are endangered. We found out that it has been attacked by some wild stronger alien Pokemon and that's why they needed the special repel from the Pokéclinic. We then let our Spidyados fight this man's Speedster team with Score Silver, Quick Ace, Flash Strike, and Flash Trick. Basically, Quicksilver and the Flash. I also brought some of the mons that I've not really used yet like Redperior and Dare Sharp. We also fought this double battle with Emma Frost and Mystique. It was a very bad matchup though, especially after Miss Cleon copies Pikapul since it now has acrobatics for Spider-Man and Pikapul can get hit by Emma's stab psychic move. What a disaster. Thankfully, we've brought enough defensive coverage to deal with them. But a Nuzlocke is not a Nuzlocke without unnecessary deaths. And unfortunately for us, it was our Daredevil. Sorry my guy. Then as we traverse to the west, we reach Necro Park, where we face some of the region's ghost and dark type trainers. Our Loki finally evolves to Zoroark, and we face this very interesting veteran trainer. Plastic's attack Wolverine handles his Scarecrow pretty well as his Solomon Grundy Makuhita, but not without dying thanks to the Grandiama's ability Innards Out. Again, Wolverine and Deadpool do not die in this video. He sends out his Bizarro against our Go-Blade and almost took it out with Double Edge. It successfully took out Pikapoo though. So this trainer pretty much could be this area's mini-boss cause there's none. This is where it gets a lot more interesting. Blisterio had the ability Magician, which made it steal our Zoroark's Choice Scarf, and since it only has Psybeam as his damaging move, our Shiny Simikrol, who is a Dark type, had free reigns against it, ultimately winning us the match. Then this scientist explained that the next 3 maps are not accessible right now, so he gave us 10 large XP candies and sent us to the majestic Serenity Bridge. I suddenly saw this woman hating on the bridge peeps, and after fighting them, I still don't understand why. They seemed kinda chill with their Valhalla themed teams. When we reached the end of the bridge, these guards were blocking me but soon told me that they need my help in Thomas Guard Cave to deal with the city's blackout. It was obviously dark and apparently the sentry agents couldn't see me, so they started attacking me too. This one had Hawkeye and Black Widow, while this one had a Shield Agent and Nick Fury. I'm not gonna lie guys, I've been used to calling these Pokemon by their names since I've worked on this project for years now. So let me know if I should just use their names for my narration for the next video, or I should still use their character names for now. That duo of Falcon and Captain America is cool though. The Cosmos grunts inside sounded scared though, which was weird. And then I bumped into this guy who was apparently my brother's best friend and also a sentry admin. He sends out Lycan Soldier, which is an ice and steel type, and Flashwreck, who is an electric type. So obviously Bigoroth, being a ground and fighting type, cooked again, even against his fully evolved Captain America. After beating him, who high-key has one of the coolest teams I've seen so far in this game, he receives a phone call telling him that there's another red code in Gothhala Annex. So I went straight there and prepared a stealth team. I flew to Gothhala Annex and prepared the team, and when I entered the genetics lab, I dodged all the scientists I could to prepare for a boss fight. But surprisingly, aside from this guy whom I think is just arrogant, no one really attacked me, even the one that they call boss. Also again, the game's not yet done, so this specific video will not show the full story of the game. But you're seeing a lot of Marcinian Pokemon, especially the cooler ones you're about to see at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around. Anyway, we went back to Themisgard City, and since there was apparently nothing to do here due to the blackout, I went straight to the gym, and surprisingly, our sister, who seemed to be omnipresent, healing us along the way, was the gym leader. Well, she said that all those were illusions made by her Zoroark, which was extremely cool. She's using an all fairy type team which I felt pretty confident against since even without Juggernaut, we still have a few steel types and one poison type, Toad, who had to die for a clean switch in for Pikapool. Sorry man. Pikapool avenges Politoed by taking out two of our sister's Pokemon and was ready to die against her Thor. Luckily, it was just Loki in disguise, so Brick Break still did a lot of damage. Loki dies and Thor finally enters the battle and soon takes out our Pikapool. Nothing to worry though, cause Sabertooth walled and Thor and got us the 5th gym badge. We used Surf and Dive to reach Atlantis City, and knowing that the next gym leader is a water type with a busted doubles team, I'd have to bring our own Thor or else we're doomed. My number one priority entering this fight is to win, and second is to keep our Thor alive or we won't have any chance against the Elite Four. Our Mr. Fantastic's wide guard stopped Surf and forced his Mera to switch out but soon gets knocked out by an Ice Fang from Aquaman. Wolverus comes in with Follow Me as Thor continues to take out Caspian's team one by one. Wolverus dies after tanking a lot of hits and Thor takes out one of the leader's aces, Namor. I couldn't risk Thor dying so I switched out into our female Zadabra, who's based from Cassandra Nova, whom I believe is the main antagonist in the next Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And alongside Iron Man, they took out Triton, giving us the 6th gym badge. As we were lying down our right period to rest, you can see the whole Summers family in there too. Hopefully, he's the last one to go into our death box. We then entered the Cosmic Cave and fought some Cosmos Grunt, and they actually had great looking teams, with Intel Shot as Deadshot, Medulla as Nebula, and Mudman as Sandman. But it was not long before we reached the hidden city called Noah Cave, or Noah City. We head on to fight the gym, and after fighting some rock and dragon types, we reached the gym leader, Thamel. If some of you have noticed, a lot of the wardens and gym leaders are named after YouTubers. And so is the Elite Four champion. Can you guess who it might be? Comment down below. Anyway, this is a rock and dragon type gym, so I brought Simic for the fake out Volt Switch hybrid fairy type move. Then I sent out a dazzling gleaming Saberor. No, that's just our Zoroark with illusion. It took out Thamel's Colexity as the collector, but this ego was such a headache to deal with. So I used Transform to scout its move and let Wolverus cook when I found out it could not touch him at all. Wolverus takes the Glayigo out, but it couldn't hit Constant Shadow, which is based from DC's Constantine. Simic dealt with it, and then Saberor dealt with the remaining member, Reed Period. And just like that, we got our 7th gym badge. We're zooming baby, and we're almost at the Pokemon League. Technically we are, as we went past through Route 114, Route 115, and the Marcy Plateau to get through the last city. But when we got to the city, the gym leader was not there. His gym assistant said that he's been very busy helping the region with its current issues. So where do we go now? I don't know. Thankfully, he came back when we were about to leave. He sounds intimidating but is kinda nice. But being the last gym leader, I can put my guards down. I sent out Zoroark disguised as Wolverus, tricking him to use Reflect with his cable. Grodd comes out and got the unlucky flinch, causing him to die with the second choice specs boosted Stab Dark Pulse. At this point, I was feeling very confident that our Loki may have secured us the win and our final gym badge, especially when his Dumpolion, which is his ace, just seemed to not care anymore. And this is it, people. After all the years of making sprites, doing research, doing a Google sheet of stats, moves, abilities, learning a skill I had no idea I'll do, which is making a fan game, we're finally at my own fan game's endgame. I low-key was feeling emotional writing and recording this. But anyway, we're obviously gonna bring our 2 stars, Deadpool and Wolverine. But we're also gonna bring the strongest members on our PC. And Thor as Thor, Pangama as the Hulk, the GOAT Dianito as Magneto, and Scarlivore, our Scarlet Witch. The first Elite Four is Ash, who uses a Dark and Ghost type team, but his Simic role just seemed to not have anything against our Wolverus. Hence, as usual, went on a rampage with +6 attack. He also got Iron Head via TM, which instantly got disabled thanks to Enchantress' Cursed Body ability. Rabid Soldier came in, and even with the Chapel Berry, still didn't had a chance to survive a Brick Break. And neither did the rest of Ash's team. Just like most Pokemon games, this run proves that everything becomes easier when you're able to set up. And that's what I'm planning to do against the next Elite Four member, Laser. He has the Bat family, and I plan to sweep with our Hulk, who is currently a normal type when he's on his nerd form, and with a combination of Belly Drum and Black Sludge will trigger Gamma Surge, turning him into Gamma form. But after taking out Alfred, Robin, and Nightwing, I'm okay switching it out for Dianito since our Pangamma already got confused due to Outrage. He pivots to Batman as I also pivot into Thor, who finishes the job by a play rough on Batscore and a Stormbolt on Ryther, beating the second Elite Four member. I am so excited. For the third Elite Four member, Niles uses a Water and Grass type team, which is a very good combination. He leads with Storm as I led with Thor, so the 2 Thunder people faced each other with Thor obviously coming out on top. King Shark comes in and I had to take it down ASAP, which forced me to use Wild Charge, doing myself a lot of damage in the process. I went to Pangamma again and the Gamma Surge ability barely but luckily gets activated. Oh, for those who don't know, Gamma Surge is basically a reverse Zen mode of some sort. The timing and the amount of damage couldn't have been more perfect for us, and with Max Attack Hulk, you know what happens next. We win. Now, for those who guessed Shady as the last Elite Four member, you are 100% right. He starts off with the Throng, who very foolishly tries to take down Magneto. He then sends out Pangamma, and as a Pangamma trainer myself, I know that activating Gamma Surge will be the end of me. So I calmly switch into Scarlivore, knowing that I can take anything his nerd form uses. Never mind. You can never relax in front of the Hulk. I use the new move Reality Warp, which is a stronger Psychic type ancient power, and Scarlivore takes out the Hulk and his Beast Boy evolution, Cryoceon. Morph comes in and copies Scarlet Witch, which in most cases would be extremely scary, but since I know that he only now has what I have, I can stall out a little bit until I can safely wish in Magneto. Which during recording felt so good knowing the character's relationship in the comics. But we can't not end with the main star of the show, the man who's the main reason why we're all here. You already know, Wolverine. Though Shady's last mon almost took out the Weapon X, it has just became too strong for everyone. And oh, Deadpool's here with us too. And that's it for this video. If you want to see more Pokemon Multiverse contents, click this one right here. Doc Berry out. Bye!